Welcome back to Wireless Interview, and in this video, we're going to be discussing a few things going on with the NBA recently. So earlier today, there was a huge injury. Jamal Murray tore his ACL. I feel so bad for the guy. You know, he was really young. He had good title odds, and he had a really good future. And tearing an ACL is one of the worst things that can happen to you as an NBA player. We've seen Derrick Rose happen to Klay Thompson, a lot of other players, and mostly the outcome is that they just didn't return back healthy, and it really ruined their career and all. And I really don't want to see that happen for Jamal Murray, especially because he's a young player, and it could just have the same effect like Derrick Rose. You know, you go from being the MVP to a rotational player. Um, and one thing Jamal Murray does so well is he's a playoff performer. And the Denver Nuggets have been extremely well this season, and they're probably going to go into the playoffs acting like title contenders. As we seen them last year, they made the Western Conference Finals, and they came back from 3-1 losses in the playoffs last year, and it was mainly Jamal Murray and Jokic who stepped up and took that team to the next level. Last year, we saw Jamal Murray drop 50 in the bubble, 50 in the playoffs, all that. He was just extremely good platformer, and to see him, end his season like that with one game going into the playoffs soon, it just sucks, really. Like, there's nothing much I can say about it. And this team obviously had the trade with Aaron Gordon, which improved the title odds by a ton. That big three with Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon has been phenomenal recently. That team is just extremely good, and to see them fall like that, now I don't know if I could see them as title contenders anymore. Obviously, Jokic is an MVP candidate, which we will get into be soonly. Uh, Nothing really much I can say. That's it. And on with Jokic, leading on with Jokic becoming an MVP candidate. There's been five main guys I would really consider for the MVP. I'm not going to include LeBron in this because he's been injured the past few months and his team record is dialing down a little bit slowly. So let's start with Jokic, Embiid, Dame, Harden, and Giannis. These five, I think they will stay as long for injuries or whatnot. Those are five guys you're gonna put in your top five MVPs. You could put LeBron. I don't know how you feel about the injuries and all. For me, they're all really close. I guess you could put Jokic at first, Embiid, Dame, Harden, Giannis, or you could switch the last two. It really doesn't matter. At the bottom line, I'm having Jokic or Embiid be the MVP, and my prediction for the end of the season is probably Joel Embiid. He's been leading his team to a lot better of a record than Jokic has, and he's a lot better on defense. But Jokic is averaging slightly better numbers, and he is a better playmaker than Embiid is. But I just feel like the defense and the impact Embiid is making is just more valuable than Jokic playmaking. And for the next couple guys in the MVP race, you obviously have guys like LeBron, Kawhi, uh, Tatum, even Jimmy Butler. That's a good one. Luca. And there's one name that hasn't been brought up a lot, but now recently has, knowing how good the Suns are doing. Chris Paul. He's always been one of my favorite players. I just love his passing, his playmaking, his impact on a team. I'll get started with that. Every team he's been on, he's you join a bad team and they immediately become a playoff team. I'll give you an example. For the OKC Thunder, they traded away Russell Westbrook, Paul George for Shea and Chris Paul. This team was expected to be a lottery team. Really, they were the fifth seed in the playoffs, and they were a shot away from going to the second round of the playoffs. I'll give you another example. Let's do the Rockets. Although the Rockets were really good, after Chris Paul joined them, they went to the Western Conference Finals and became the first seed in the West. Phenomenal again. I'll give you another example. The Hornets, lottery team. The next year they were the second seed competing for a title. You know, every team. With the Suns this year, they go from 10th seed, and now they're the second best team in the West, second best team in the league, or what? That's crazy. All they added was CP3, Jay Crowder, and I'm not giving credit to Jay Crowder for the Suns' success. No, it's Chris Paul easily. You could argue that they have a good coach and Devin Booker has improved a lot, or maybe he hasn't. I don't know. He's doing really good in the bubble last year. But the bottom line is that's mainly thanks to Chris Paul, and his impact and leadership as a player. In my opinion, he's one of the most impactful guys in the league. Probably the most impactful besides LeBron, and the best leader. I could even say all time, but I have to. That's a whole different discussion. The bottom line is Chris Paul's leadership and impact has always been overlooked, and this season I feel like the Suns can really be title contenders. And if the Suns actually win the championship, Chris Paul will be seen as, obviously he'll have one of the greatest longevities ever to win a championship at what, 35, 36, just like LeBron did. It'll be seen as maybe top 20, top 15 type of dude. Because one thing that limited Chris Paul from becoming up there with all the greats, although he is a great, but like going to the next level, is winning a championship. And unfortunately, he's been having a lot of injuries or whatever it is in the playoffs that's just stopping him from doing that. And to take a team from the 10th seed to the second seed, going back to that, is an MVP in my opinion. Although he's not averaging the best numbers, um, the impact is just really what it means to be the most valuable player. I'm not saying he should be the MVP. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but I do think he should be a contender over some of these guys. Maybe even top 6, or you could say top 5. I'm not too sure, but that's definitely a take I have, and a lot of people have nowadays, and I think he's been overlooked. He's never won MVP. Maybe he should have won it back in '09, but they had to give respect to Kobe because he obviously took it from him. I do feel like Chris Paul was more deserving of it, but it's in all fairness, it's Kobe Bryant. You really shouldn't let him retire without an MVP because Steve Nash took maybe 2 of them. Some other guys did. Bottom line is Chris Paul deserves an MVP, and maybe this is the season. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Moving on, we're going to be talking about the Timberwolves. Now, this is a team that's been in the lottery last year, the year before. Honestly, just wasn't a great team. They have some good players with D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, and Karl-Anthony Towns, of course. That big three is extremely good. They have other rotational players, other starters, coach, blah, blah, blah. They aren't the best team, but I feel like this big three can develop into something good, and they trade away their other picks or rotational players, and they can do something good. Maybe make the playoffs in a couple of years, but I definitely don't see them making the playoffs anytime soon. And now recently with D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, and Karl-Anthony Towns all playing, maybe they'll take a big step and maybe even contend for the play-in tournament. I don't see them doing that this season with the competition there is in the play-in tournament. But maybe next year or the year after, like I said. And there's nothing much to discuss about them. I don't know. I really don't watch them, in my opinion. I don't think they're the most exciting team. And a lot of fans, I don't see watching them either. Not the best franchise. I'm sorry, Timberwolves fans. I can't say anything good. I mean, you had a lot of good players in your time. Kevin Garnett, Kevin Love. Like, don't get me wrong and all, but I just don't see what the organization is doing and how they're gonna succeed because they could do what I said. Trade their rotational players, maybe get another star, or maybe draft another star. Because obviously they're gonna be a big lottery team, but until then, I don't see them doing any good. Sorry. Moving on, like I said earlier, how I thought it was really competitive with the play-in tournament, especially in both conferences. But I'll mainly be focusing on the East, because right now, from the 4th seed in the East to maybe the 8th or 9th seed, right? These teams are neck to neck. I'm telling you, these are 1 or 2, maybe 3 games apart. And going into the play-in tournament and the rest of the playoffs, you could see one day you're gonna have Miami, the Knicks, and Charlotte as the 4th, 5th, and 6th seed, right? Let's say they all lose a game, right? They're now in the 10th seed or 8th or 9th seed or 8th seed, whatever, and they're a game away from elimination for the play-in tournament, obviously. So I feel like this is really competitive, and I'll list the teams: New York, Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, Indiana, Chicago. Obviously, you could throw the Wizards in there. Maybe I'm not forgetting any teams. I hope not. But all those teams, they're neck to neck right now. Maybe not the Bulls and the Wizards, but whatever. Like for the next few weeks, they have to put their game on, because if they lose 5 games, that could be it. Seriously, like one game can really get you from a 10 seed to a 4th seed in this conference, and it's just really competitive. And I don't know what to say. Like, these teams have all been great, but only a couple of them can really make the playoffs, and it just sucks to see teams that try so hard and lose in 1 or 2 games in the play-in tournament. But that also gives the other teams a chance. I've been really playing really hard, and they're also 1 or 2 games away from the playoffs, but now they have a chance in the play-in tournament. So I'm excited to see that go down, and whoever's going to be in the playoffs, leave that down in the comments below if you're up for it. In my predictions, I do think the Knicks, I really have to say that as I'm a Knicks fan, Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta are going to make the playoffs. And I'm going to have Indiana and the Wizards in the playoffs, in the play-in tournament. So that's New York, Charlotte, Miami, Atlanta. For the 4th through 8th seed, we need one more team, throw in Chicago. And then Wizards and, what did I say? The Pacers, right? For the 9th and 10th seed. That's how I see it. Like I said, leave your take in the comments below. I'm really excited to see what goes down. And, anything can happen. And that's pretty much it for the video. Make sure you guys leave your predictions in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe if you want. Catch more videos on the NBA, MLB, and NFL news if you want. That's it for the video, and bye.